This is Tread Boldly, Leadership Lessons from the Saints, with Father Nathan Cromly.
My name is Father Nathan Cromly. I'm the president of the St. John Institute, and this is Tread Boldly, Leadership Lessons from the Saints. St. Joseph is an amazing example of what it means to be a Christian leader. Being a Christian leader doesn't mean simply that we do the things of God, but that we allow God to do His great works through us. And as wonderful as that might sound, it certainly is not easy. We have to get out of our own way. We have to be humble enough to let God use our lives as His instrument. And while, of course, this is a beautiful thing, it's not always easy to accomplish. In the life of St. Joseph, there were many times where he encountered things that were difficult for him. One of the greatest moments comes in Luke chapter 2, when St. Joseph and the Virgin Mary take the child Jesus up to the temple. It says, when the feast was ended, as they were returning, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem. His parents did not know it, but supposing him to be in the group, they went a day's journey. But when they began to search for him among their relatives and acquaintances, and when they did not find him, they returned to Jerusalem searching for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple. When his parents saw him, they were astonished. And his mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us so? Behold, your father and I have been searching for you in great distress." And he said to them, "Why were you looking for me? Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house?" And they did not understand the saying that he spoke to them. This is indeed a moment of pain for St. Joseph. Losing track of a child in a crowded place is already frightening enough, but to then not even understand the child's reason, nor even to receive an apology from Jesus for having put him through such pain, must have been a real sorrow for him. Of course, we know in the plan of God, this was all for St. Joseph's good. Jesus did no wrong. He was simply asking St. Joseph to go to a higher and deeper place. The more that St. Joseph progressed with Christ, the deeper he would have to go in surrender and humility. One would think that being the husband of the Virgin Mary would be enough. One would think that going to Bethlehem and then being present for the birth in the manger, being present for the visit of the shepherds, taking the child into exile into Egypt, one would think that this would be enough. But God was not finished with St. Joseph. God didn't stop working with him until St. Joseph reached the height of holiness that God had willed for him from all time. And the higher the holiness, the deeper the spiritual poverty and humility he was asked to offer. This scene of Jesus in the temple, a little of the spiritual exigencies St. Joseph was asked to endure. He had to lose the child Jesus, look for him in sorrow, find him again, and then bring him back. It was a roller coaster of emotions. Indeed, it was so profound that even the Virgin Mary asked her son why he had done this. And he answered, of course, as he always does, full of grace, revealing to Joseph and Mary something even deeper. He belonged in his Father's house. In some ways, this answer was a natural answer. At his age, a child would typically leave the mother's home of domestic care and start working with the father. Jesus was doing that literally. And his revelation of the fact that he was about his Father's business was not to separate him from St. Joseph, but rather to give to St. Joseph a share in what Christ himself was living. With Jesus, through Jesus, in Jesus, St. Joseph could also be about the business of our Heavenly Father. The Holy Family was asked to endure a sorrow, losing Jesus for a time. And in many ways, this moment represented the first separation of Jesus from St. Joseph, a separation which would become complete when he embarked in his apostolic life and then offered himself on the cross. Separations, sorrow, these are things that we don't normally think are part of leadership. But for a Christian, separations and sorrow are opportunities for us to discover a deeper presence and joy that come from God. Jesus reveals in the midst of their pain the truth that in fact he's living a mystery with the Father to which he was inviting Joseph and Mary to join. They just had to open themselves to receive this new gift. Thenceforth, in many ways, St. Joseph followed Jesus. He let him tread boldly in the Father's will and supported him from behind.